if what people are saying isn't going to change the color of your hair, isn't going to magically make your limbs disappear or change the size of your bum, I think you'll be fine. Don't be afraid to walk away. Walk out the door. If that person is not treating you right, if that person is talking to you with, like, you do not have to take it. He is not your soulmate.
She's
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Lola. Thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's been so long since I did a sit down video, so I'm so excited for this video. From the title, you can see that it's basically going to be me talking about a couple of things that I learned in my teens. I turned 20 about a month ago. I feel like I say that a lot. During the time I spent as a teenager, which was like, what, 7 years, I learned so much that I want to share with you guys. I'm just going to be winging it, talking directly from my chest and from my experiences and based on how I feel in general. I really hope you do learn something from this video. If you're still a teenager and if you're already past your teens, you can still learn a lot from it, because I feel like most of the things that I'm going to be talking about are like things that apply to life in general, so yeah, I hope you learn something from this video. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to waste much time. Without further ado, let's get into the video. In no particular order, the first thing would definitely be to not be afraid to let people go. Looking back to when I was 16, 15, 16, 17, there were people in my life that I literally did not think my life could exist without. And there were circumstances where I had people in my life that were kind of like drifting away, and I was trying so hard to like keep these bonds and keep these relationships. Right now, as a 20-year-old woman, one thing I've learned, I should have definitely just let nature and life take its course. Things play out the way they would play out, because I ended up hurting myself in the process, trying to hold on to certain friendships. Especially for me, there were instances where there were people who were actively hurting me, friendships that weren't, adding more to my mental and emotional well-being, to be very, very honest. These friendships weren't the same as they were, right? But I was just so scared to let people go, even when they were hurting me and all of that, And I think all that came from a place of not wanting to seemingly be alone. But I feel like in life, you have to understand that it's a cycle. You are going through life. I feel like when you start looking at life from that perspective, that you're going through life, right? If you're maybe walking down the street, you start walking from where you started from, obviously. You walk past the store, you walk past the fuel station, so you meet all these stops on the way, then you get to your destination. So I feel like if you kind of look at life in a sense that you're meeting people at these instances, and then the interaction is gonna end, you're going to meet more people, and each and every step or each and every landmark you meet throughout your journey is going to bring you closer and closer to the ultimate point. So don't be afraid to let people go, by all means. There could be people in your life who were a big part of your life at a certain point in time, and now they're not because you're fighting, not for any reason, to be very, very honest. The time just passed, and one thing that I think I have learned is to not be scared to let people go, because there's a difference between doing things to keep your friendship and maintain your friendships with people, which is a whole different thing. But it's also another thing when you're entertaining it from a point of fear, where you are literally scared to be alone and you're scared to let people go, regardless of the fact that they're hurting you. If you have a friendship with someone and maybe the person was good to you for say 2 years or even 3, you guys were very, very good friends, and the person was good to you. Maybe the next 2 years, the person just basically switched up and isn't treating you the same. I feel like it pays to not hold on to the fact that, okay, this person was good to me all these years, you're so attached to this person, you don't want to let go. I feel like it's okay to make a decision to let this person go. Be fine with that friendship or that interaction, you know, dying out or dimming. Not from a point where you're fighting or anything, but just not to be scared, basically, to let your life regenerate. The next thing would definitely be something that I kind of have stopped believing in over the years, and that is the perception of a soulmate. I used to be so bent on the one designed for you, but based on some experiences I've had, I have gotten to believe, or honestly to find out, that you actually choose this person for you. And this applies to like every aspect in your life in terms of interactions with people. I strongly believe right now that there's no such thing as a soulmate. It's just who you choose. You're not bound to anyone. You're not programmed to be by someone. I feel like the perception of a soulmate has done more harm than good. You get so close and attached to a person that you start to believe that this is the person that is for me per nature or per whatever. And when the person starts to switch up, you're still there because this is my soulmate, this is the person I'm supposed to be with, which I think is very, very toxic. Because imagine they are beating you and you are sitting there because he's my soulmate. That's crazy, at least to me. It's completely different when you're trying to like stand by your partner's side throughout hard times, or your partner is acting a bit different, you work on it. But it's different when things come in like abuse and all of that, and like you're thinking, oh, this person is my soulmate. You're not bound to anyone. You're not made by nature to forcefully be by anyone. You get to choose who will be in your life, and that's something that I've definitely learned, and I'm definitely now applying into my life. I'm not thinking this and that person is my soulmate. You know, I am thinking about the ideal person for me and the person I want. And if you don't cut it, you're out the door. Sorry. Don't be afraid to walk away. Walk out the door. If that person is not treating you right, if that person is talking to you, you know, like, you do not have to take it. He is not your soulmate. Because I've been in a point where I believe that a person was my soulmate. I felt like there's no other way I want to know anyone else or anything. This is my soulmate. And I consistently had to compromise things that I was uncomfortable with and things that I didn't want anymore, because there was this part of me that just felt like, oh no, this is my soulmate. Planning out future children and future wedding days, which is normal. I feel like once you're in love, it's fine to, you know, think about being by the person forever. But once there are certain things you don't like that you can't take anymore, you do not have to force yourself to take it. Because remember, it's who you choose to be, who you choose to be the partner for you, who you choose to be the father of your children. I believe that things are not set in stone. You get to make a decision. And yeah, that's just what I believe, and that's just my perspective or my take on the concept of a soulmate. Another thing that I learned was to be mindful about the friends you have. Not everyone is your friend. You have to be fine with mentally putting in your mind that some people are people you're just acquainted to. The fact that you're all in school or you're all in a certain vicinity doesn't mean the person is automatically your friend. I feel like having a friend is someone you're letting into your life and into your space, right? First off, you have to be careful of who you choose to be your friend, who you finally decide in the long run, okay, you're my friend, I can let you into my home, I can let you into my space. You have to be careful of that. And two is to be mindful of how people treat you, how people talk to you, and not just saying that, oh, we're in the same class, we should be friends. If you know in your heart that this is not someone that I relate to, this is not someone whose energy that I like or whatever, you also have to kind of keep an eye out for how people treat you. Because I've had friendships where I genuinely thought that this person is my friend, and the person probably did too. But sometimes when you sit down and look at things, you realize that the way the person treats me is not right. The things the person says to me is not right. Sometimes per your intuition, you can kind of see that this person kind of does not genuinely like me, especially when you have friendships where the person acts with you one way when the person is with you, and a different way when the person is with you and other people, seemingly wants to kind of embarrass you or make a joke out of you, that person is not your friend, honey. Trust me. So you need to be very, very careful of who your friends are, who you're letting into your life and into your personal space, and also who you tell things to. Another thing that I learned is people are gonna say what you're gonna say. There's nothing you can do to change what people are going to say about you, and slowly I start to realize that there's actually nothing you can do about people's perception about you or what people are going to think about you. If you find out that people have a certain perspective about you or see you in a certain way, the worst thing you can do is to try to intervene or try to prove that you are not that person or try to defend your name. If you do decide to defend your name, it's obviously from a good place, because you can't just sit by and watch people say things about you, right? But from my experiences, I've learned that it's better to stay quiet and not to explain. I've learned that trying to defend yourself or trying to talk about things or trying to correct the narrative will just give people more reason to talk or basically entertain the entire topic. I've learned to just let people say what they are going to say, because to be honest, what people think or what people say is not going to change the reality of things. If what people are saying isn't going to change the color of your hair, isn't going to magically make your limbs disappear or change the size of your bum, I think you'll be fine, to be very, very honest. And that's one thing that I have learned. As long as what people are saying isn't changing what it is, isn't harming me in any way, it's just speculations and what people have said, I honestly prefer to stay quiet and let them talk about me and, rage over me like I'm some, celebrity, As long as whatever they're doing is not draining you spiritually, emotionally, or physically. When people keep talking about you, saying things about you, you're basically a celebrity, Let them talk and just look at it like you're a celebrity. Trust me, baby. You'll be fine. Also, that not everyone is going to like you. There are people who are just going to dislike you, not because you're a bad person, not because you've done something. They just probably don't like your energy, which is okay for them. People are just not going to like you, and there's no reason to try to make people like you or try to make people see you for who you are. Just live your life, be happy. And I get how sometimes rumors or what people say about you could sometimes mentally make you feel a certain type of way, but from what I have learned, I feel it's best to just look at things from the point of view that you can't change what they are going to say, and what they are going to say isn't going to change what it actually is. Because to be honest, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, people are going to think what they are going to think. And one thing I've realized about people is that if someone hears that someone had the highest score in maybe a test or a very big exam, people want to know, hey, did this person actually get it? Oh, how? It's not possible. It's rather this person that could have gotten it, la 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 la. But if it's a rumor that someone say murdered someone or did something sexually immoral, people are quick to believe the bad thing, like just like that, right? People are quick to get excited because it's juicier, it's all of that. I've learned to just let people talk and just live my life, focus on my goals, achieve what I achieve. As long as you know in your heart that you're a good person, everything is just between you and your God, and that's it. Another thing I've learned is to work at my own pace in school, in every aspect of my life, honestly, is to just do things at my own pace and the way I can, and not to be rushed or not to feel pressured by anyone to be a certain type of way, to make do with what I have and make the best out of it. There are people that are going to maybe steady faster. There are people who are going to get certain things faster, maybe things that you even want. But one thing that I have learned is to take my time and to basically work one step at a time in a pace that works for me. There are instances where I rushed something, especially in school, to be very, very honest. Like, I ended up rushing or getting pressured by seeing people do so much, and at the end of the day, I end up rushing through so many things, and I'm basically not able to get anything done. But if I worked at my own pace, even if I was able to finish, I would have done the things I was able to do during that time very effectively. So ultimately, I'd know what I know very, very well instead of doing things shabbily, if that makes sense. So one important thing I've definitely learned is to work at my own pace and not to be in a rush. Another thing I've definitely learned is to feed into what is feeding you. It's so important to not expend your energy on relationships, on situations that are not feeding back into you. There are certain interactions with people, there are certain relationships you have with people that you start to see that this person is actually draining me. You keep doing so many things for this person, but this person is not making an effort to do anything for you. And I'm not talking about financially or gift giving or all of that. I'm talking about emotional and mental support. There are just people where you start to realize that you put in so much effort to be there for this person, but when it's your turn and when you are down, this person seemingly doesn't care, you know. So one thing I've definitely learned is to feed into what is feeding you. If someone is not feeding into your energy, I feel like there's someone who just shouldn't be in your life, and that's what I have been doing, and that's something that my early teens taught me, and that I kind of did throughout my late teen years, 18, 19. Once I feel like someone is draining my energy, isn't feeding into me the same way I'm feeding into them, isn't putting any effort into a friendship or relationship or all that, I'm out the door, because what am I waiting for? And another thing I've learned is to not expect people to treat you the way you treat them. There were so many instances that I didn't understand why people were acting a certain type of way. It's like, I'm always good to you, I always treat you this type of way, I'm always there for you. Why can't you treat me the same way? But I've gotten to a point where I've started to understand that not everyone is programmed like me, not everyone is built like me, not everyone thinks like me. I'm such an emotional person. Like, I feel my emotions plus other people's emotions, right? And this ends up making me go all the way out for people. I do so much for the people I care about, and even people that are not so close to me, but are close enough for me to kind of feel their pain or their predicaments or whatever. And subconsciously, I used to do that with the thoughts that if I do this for this person, then when it's my turn, this person will also do it for me. But more often than not, these people do not show up for you. Things changed for me when I started to just do things freely, not expect anything from anyone. Even if I'm sacrificing something big for someone, when I'm going through something, I have slowly taught myself to be sufficient with myself and to be able to go through things on my own and not feel I helped this person, so this person would probably help me. It's like there used to be this part of my mind that felt once I've done certain things for you, you'd also treat me that way, you'd also be nice to me. But to be very honest, most of the time it doesn't happen like that. And I've slowly learned to just take things how they are and not expect anything from anyone. Another thing that I have learned is to not be afraid to say no. I used to be so scared. I don't know whether to call it fear, but it used to be so hard for me to say no. And even now, it kind of is a bit hard for me to say no. And I don't know why. Like, it's very, very hard for me to just say no and just leave it at that. I mean, it's better than before, because previously I used to do certain things that I was so uncomfortable with that I didn't want to do, just because I care so much about someone and I know the person wants this. And if I say no, the person is going to be sad or something like that. But honestly, saying no doesn't kill anyone. It only kills you. Like, you're killing yourself trying to do things that you're not comfortable with just because you don't want to say no to maybe your partner or your friend or something like that. You don't need to compromise your comfort for another person. If you do not want to do something, simply do not do it. And this is something I'm still trying to learn. Be okay with saying no. And that's something I'm still kind of working on. So yeah. Another thing that I have learned is that bad people actually do exist. For a long time, I used to tell myself how, I don't think people are actually bad. people just kind of maybe fall short, do certain things that are bad. And that is the case for some people, right? Some people just are good people but make mistakes, because no one is perfect, right? I mean, even in the eyes of God, like, we all sin, we all do things that are wrong. But one thing I've learned is that bad people actually do exist. It doesn't matter who you are to them, whether you are their friend, whether you are even their sibling. They just find happiness in talking bad about people, making fun of people, treating people a certain type of way. They just find thrill in it. And I feel like my perspective of life changed a lot when I started to believe and understand that bad people actually do exist. It's not because they experienced something, it's not because they went through something. See how villains in movies always had a backstory where they were hurt or something. It's not like that in real life sometimes. There are people that are just not good. Another thing is to prioritize privacy. Try not to be a blabbermouth all the time. Try not to go on and on about the things you want to do or plans you have, or things that are personal to you, like relationships or things about your family. And something that is private is different from something that is a secret. Even with my very close friends, there are still so many things I don't speak to these people about. I feel like no matter how close you are to someone, you still have to learn how to keep the things that need to be private in your life private. You don't have to be an open book. Not everyone around you genuinely wants what's best for you, and it's very hard to tell what is in someone's mind. Like, you can't enter someone's mind to see that, oh, this person actually loves me a lot, or this person would never do this to me. You can never be sure about that, right? And I'm not saying don't talk to people or don't share things with your friends. I mean, there are certain things you can share, but I feel like there are things that are private, and I feel like everyone peels from having like a private life. For example, if there are things happening in your relationship or something, you don't have to straight up run to your friend, tell this person everything that is happening privately in your relationship. I don't believe you should keep something like your relationship a secret, but definitely you should be private about things that occur inside, and not just in relationships too. Like, in so many different aspects of my life, there are certain things that are just private to me and known to me, and it's not anyone's business. Another important, probably the most important thing I learned during my teens was God. Being born into a Christian home or being a Christian doesn't make you know God. Do you understand? It's different when you discover God. And the first time I guess it was funny when I talk about God. The first time that I properly discovered God for myself was when I was I think I was 14 or 13, and I was going to write like my BC exam, and I had a spiritual I think that was the first time I got touched by the Spirit, and I started to know God, I started to learn about God, and over the years I've started to know more and more about God and His presence and all that. And to be very honest, you realize that once you start to prioritize God, once you start to focus on His word and all that, so many things in your life start to go right. And this has taught me to always put God in the center of everything. So definitely one of the things I've learned in my teens, or I learned during my teens, was that you cannot do it without God. To be the best top quality of yourself, you need God. And that's something that I have learned. Like, I've seen a big difference from the points in my life where I was just, not being active in my faith, and the points in my life where I was being active in my faith, going to church, and not just merely going to church, praying and doing all that and prioritizing my quiet time. Like, I can see a distinct difference in my life, and no one can convince me that there is no God or that I can do anything without God. So yeah, another thing I learned: appreciate and love the people around you. During my early teens, I wasn't looking at life from a perspective that, okay, my parents are not going to be with me forever. But right now, more than ever, I'm starting to look at things from that perspective, and I've started to understand the need to cherish like your parents and basically every single person around you. Yeah, and I think right now being 20, I definitely do love and appreciate and want to do so much for all the people that are still in my life and that have genuinely been part of my journey, and that's how I want to be part of my journey forever, you know. One thing I've definitely learned is to cherish the people around you that love you. Last but definitely not the least, another thing I've learned is to take care of myself, and you should too, because to be honest, you're the only person that you will have forever, you know. You're the only person that will be with you forever. So one thing I've learned is to take care of myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Just always do what's best for me at every point in time. And doing what's best for yourself doesn't mean you should disregard other people and their emotions and all that. It is important to, you know, be considerate and act in ways that do not hurt people, but you just shouldn't do all these things at the expense of yourself. There are so many situations where you should definitely put yourself first. Like more often than not, you should put yourself first. Put your health first, put your emotional well-being first, put your mental well-being first, put your spiritual well-being first, put your physical well-being. Choose myself, and to keep choosing myself, keep choosing my mental well-being, and not to compromise my state of being for anyone. Okay guys, it's a wrap. I think I'm done talking. Did I talk for too long? I don't know. Anyway guys, this brings me to the end of my video. I hope you loved this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more sit down videos. Let me know what you thought of this video. Feel free to tell me your opinions, and also tell me certain things that you learned during your teens, if you are, you know, past being a teenager, or things you've actually learned and you're still a teen. Tell me in the comment section. Let's discuss, let's have a conversation. I'll be here replying all your comments. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys on my next video. Until my next video, bye guys.